So Dr. Marianne Barrett is the Associate Superintendent for St. Albert Public School District. She has 20 years experience in education and has a passion for student voice. She holds a doctorate in educational policy studies from the University of Alberta. Her session presents a new student voice initiative in St. Albert Public Schools. A team of 12 students representing junior and senior high schools across the district now form the new student I Lead. And this stands for I Lead, I Engage, I Advise, I Design. One of the responsibilities of the I Lead team is to facilitate the Our Views, Our Voice student conference. So you can learn how students engage with district level and school-specific Our School survey data at their event to reflect on their school experiences and develop action plans for improvements. So please welcome Dr. Barrett for her topic, Engaging Students in District Planning.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you can all hear me. It's funny being introduced as Dr. Barrett. I finally finished my PhD and convocated last June, so this is one of the first opportunities I've had to be introduced as doctor, so that was kind of exciting for me. I just wanted to thank you for the opportunity this afternoon to speak to you about student voice and one of the things that we're doing in St. Albert. I'm not going to take a lot of time. This is it's a new journey for us. It's brand new this year, so I just wanted to explain the context of why we're doing this work. And I wanted to begin with just a little bit about St. Albert Public Schools. I think all of us in this room know that building a data culture is really based on the context of the work of the communities in which we work. So I wanted to take some time this afternoon to tell you a little bit about St. Albert's story. So we are a district of just over 8,000 students from preschool to grade 12. In the last 5 years, our K-9 population has grown by 30%, so we're a rapidly growing district. We have 14 schools and a new school opening in the fall. That's the first new school opening in 25 years, and we have another one opening in the fall following. So you can see we have a lot of change. We've been a district of tradition and stability for a really long time, and in the last 5 years we're growing and changing. St. Albert is known as, or perceived as, an affluent community, and we do have several social and economic advantages, but we also, like any other community, have a range of student profiles, family profiles, and family needs. And certainly one of the things that we really need to focus on, given our social and economic profile, is making sure the needs of those families and students don't get lost, and that we have that that they're visible in terms of our planning and moving forward. We have a growing number of English language learners in our community. We have a growing number of students who identify as First Nations, Métis, and Inuits families. And I probably should have done this at the beginning, but I didn't write it down. I did want to acknowledge that we're meeting today and gathering on Treaty 6 land, and that's certainly something that's important for us to acknowledge. We also have some changing demographics as a city. So the city is intentionally developing multi-family units, apartment buildings. So we are a changing and growing community. St. Albert Public has a long history with Tell Them From Me, our school. I still default to our Tell Them From Me. One of our high schools was one of the first pilot schools in the high school redesign, so it's become embedded in our practice, certainly in junior and senior high schools. Our elementary schools have just come on board in the last couple of years, and so we have some work to do there around building that data culture in our elementary schools, but it's certainly well established in junior and senior high. One of the things that I did want to say is last year we did review the data that we were collecting from students. So we had a local survey that was administered from students from grades 2 to grade 12. We had the accountability pillar survey, obviously, and then we were doing Tell Them From Me. And previous speakers have talked about strategic frameworks and strategic alignment. One of the things that we did last year in support of that work is really look at the information that we were collecting and making sure that we didn't have survey fatigue, we weren't losing too much instructional time, and we weren't data rich and information poor. So we went through a review of all of our surveys and have chosen certainly to stay with, tell them for me, our school and kind of the years ahead, and that very much came from the principals. So we eliminated our local survey just to make sure that we had the information that we needed. As I said, student voice at the school level, and I would be remiss if my superintendent was here, he would say, Marianne, make sure you tell everybody we are a site-based system. And we are a site-based system where principals have a great deal of autonomy around their school plans and the goals set. So we have broad priorities around student wellness and resiliency, literacy and numeracy, and student engagement, but schools have tons of flexibility around that piece, and that works very well for us in our school system. So schools have well-developed practices around engaging with students, looking at the data, engaging students in conversations about the data. Our board has a long history of engaging with students as well. So for the last 15 years, they've been meeting with small groups of students twice a year. We form the questions as senior leadership, so we always base those questions on our school and give those to the trustees. The trustees were wanting to enhance their student voice initiative in the district, and I'm new to the district, so coming in, I was keen to look at student voice as well, because that's certainly been a passion of mine. So we know the board had opportunities to meet with kids and talk to kids. We know our schools are doing a good job, but what can district administration do around those pieces? And certainly that's where we came up with the iLead Student Engagement Team. So you can see that we have a logo developed, and this is brand new. We just started in the last couple of months. And I know that we've done a good job with the logo because the kids said that they would wear it on a hoodie. That's very exciting for us. So one of the things that I wanted to do as an associate superintendent and our central office learning team wanted to do is maintain that communication and that direct communication with our students. So we asked our principals to send us 2 representatives from each of the junior and senior high schools, and that forms that core iLead team. So they meet with me and one of my colleagues. One of the things that we were pretty adamant about is making sure that we had diversity on that team. So I didn't want schools to send me 2 of their student leaders from their schools. I wanted diversity. So one perhaps from that leadership group, but also one who had a different school experience. One of the things that we've been focusing on around the Our School data, similar to what others have talked about this morning, is quality instruction. So relevance, interest, and that anxiety piece. So when we met with the iLead team, we've had 2 meetings today, and that's actually why I had to bounce up my presentation, because I'm going back. I have students waiting for me at the office this afternoon to finalize conference details. But we did some filtering of the Our School survey, and I came with a structure about what we may want to do at that first conference. And then I said to students, what do you really want us to know about quality instruction? What do you want us to know about student engagement? What do you want us to know about anxiety and balance and mental health? And so from that, I basically had to redesign the whole conference and the whole learning activities, but it was really important to me that if we're engaging in that student voice initiative and inviting students to be in conversation and be a part of that, that it's actually reflected. So it's not about what I want to hear from kids, it's about what kids think we need to hear from kids. So that's going to be the structure of our day. We have about 100 students coming from all of our different schools on Thursday for the day to talk about those things, to talk about quality instruction, to talk about anxiety and balance and what we can do and what they can do. So one of the things that we're certainly hopeful, and as I said, this is an evolving project, is that we wanted to empower students to go back to their schools and engage in further conversations with their school administrators. So that, in a nutshell, is our iLeads initiative, and I'd be happy to answer questions.